the former class beauty, turned her classmates from 10 years after graduation into mystery boxes, wanting to see how they were doing, but never expected the former top student to be heavily overweight now, staying home to raise children, and the former school heartthrob she had been close to had become a woman by the time they met again. She posted these reunions online and gained over 1 million followers overnight. When she chose her next classmate, the viewers wanted her to meet the head-down guy at the far left of the graduation photo. He was an ordinary-looking boy, with thick bangs covering half his face. The class beauty instinctively looked over, but could not remember who he was. As she remembered him, this male classmate barely spoke, and always walked with his head down. He was the kind of outsider no one noticed. Only after checking the photo did she remember Xiao, then introduced him. Comments flooded the live stream. Have you noticed that in every class, there are always a few classmates whose names no one remembers? People only remember distinctive students or those with good grades. People like this outsider will not amount to much in the real world either. Who says being a loner means no one likes you? Seeing the chat turn so hostile, Nianyi quickly tried to smooth things over. At the same time, she decided to meet this old classmate she barely remembered. At that moment, you were wearing your yellow delivery uniform, waiting at a red light on your electric scooter. You happened to run into a former classmate driving a luxury car. He politely asked for your contact information. You readily agreed. Let's catch up when we have time. But not long after, you received a call from an unknown number. Hello, are you Xiao? The class beauty paused, then added, I am Nianyi. We went to high school together. After thinking for a moment, you finally remembered her. Jiang, the former class beauty. So you asked? After all these years without contact, are you getting married, Jiang, the campus beauty? If you want to borrow money, forget it. Nianyi did not know how to respond at first. I am not getting married, and I do not need to borrow money. Before she could finish, you continued, then I know. Send me the link. I will help you cut the price. I am a new user, after all. The livestream chat erupted in a din. This Xiao is hilarious. Still, his answer was realistic. A classmate you have not spoken to in years suddenly contacts you one day. Usually, they are either getting married or asking to borrow money. Reading the comments, Nianyi finally came to her senses. She hurriedly explained, Xiao, you have misunderstood. I am doing a live stream event. Want to invite old high school classmates out to chat. I wonder if you have time. I can wait for you. Since she put it that way, you had no choice but to agree. All right, I am free next Saturday. I will contact you then. But just then, a sharp-tongued woman suddenly berated you without warning. Look what time it is. My delivery is cold already. How am I supposed to eat this? Hearing the voice over the phone, Nianyi froze. The livestream viewers froze too. The classmate goddess Nian was meeting this time was actually a food delivery rider. She should pick someone else next time. What is worth meeting a delivery rider for? I wanted to see an ordinary person make a comeback. Maybe reality is just this cruel. Most people are destined to be ordinary their whole lives. Looking at the comments, Nianyi suddenly felt a little upset. Though she knew it would cost her some viewers, she did not care much. Forcing a smile, she said, since Xiao and I made plans, I will not break my promise. And I believe no job is beneath anyone. Delivery work does not make someone inferior. They do not steal or rob. They earn an honest living to support their families, and they deserve our respect. Her words drew praise from the viewers. Saturday arrived in a flash. Nianyi had already started her live stream. The chat was buzzing. Ever since I learned that my darling Nian's classmate is a delivery rider, I cannot stop picturing him in that yellow uniform, riding an electric scooter to pick Nian up. Reading those comments, Nianyi paused. The image appeared in her mind too, and she could not help shuddering. Just then, Nianyi saw a luxury car pull up right in front of her. Then an ordinary-looking man stepped out, smiling at her. Nianyi frowned deeply. She had met plenty of men who approached her, more than she could count, but she usually turned them down politely. Seeing Nianyi's confused expression, you smiled. You are Jiang, the former class beauty, right? Did you forget we were meeting today? Nianyi was stunned. The livestream chat exploded with profanity. No way, a delivery rider could never afford a luxury car worth millions. That car is probably rented. You guessed right. He rented that car from my family. Actually, Jiang Nianyi was not sure whether the car was rented. But when a viewer claimed it came from his family's rental business, she no longer doubted it. How could she know the viewer had simply made it up? She hesitated. Xiaomo, this car of yours. Seeing Jiang Nianyi's expression, you were puzzled too. What is wrong with the card? Is there a problem? Growing a little anxious, I was in a rush, so I just drove one over from home. The moment you said that, the live stream erupted. I do not know why, but I cannot stand this Xiaomo. He is obviously just a delivery rider, yet he is pretending to be rich to get our goddess's attention. Total cringe guy. Jiang Nianyi ignored the malicious comments. Instead, she looked at you, wondering whether she should tell you directly that your identity had been exposed. But you had only wanted to leave a good impression on her, which was why you rented a luxury car. Yet you knew none of this. Smiling, you invited her. It is nearly noon. Why do not we find a restaurant and have lunch, then catch up? In the car, Jiang Nianyi asked about your job. You casually admitted that you were self-employed. That made her breathe a sigh of relief. She had feared you would start bragging, claiming to be the chief executive of some publicly traded company. The viewers would have laughed at you. Then the conversation turned to relationships. You told her you were married with children. Jiang Nianyi fell silent at once. He already had a family. Yet he had rented a luxury car just to save face for this meeting. Then she asked about your wife. With a sigh, you said, she is even busier than I am. Our family does not need the little money she earns, so I can only support her. Hearing that, Jiang Nianyi nearly choked on her own saliva. The livestream viewers tore into you. This guy is so off-putting. He is still pretending his family does not need her money. He makes his wife go out and earn money, yet says it like he is being noble. How shameless. But, as you said this, a loving father's smile appeared on your face. While stopped at a red light, you pulled up photos of your children on your phone. Jiang Nianyi casually took it, then froze. She asked in disbelief, are these two children really your biological children? You gave her a wry smile. They really are my children. Can you not see how much they look like me? Jiang Nianyi realized that was the wrong thing to ask, and immediately apologized. I am sorry. I was just surprised. This scene made the livestream viewers even more curious. They all said they wanted to see the photos too. After getting your permission, Jiang Nianyi pointed the camera at the photos. The chat immediately erupted again. Oh my god. They are so adorable. They must take after their mother. Have you not noticed? These two kids look a little like Yi Kexin, the versatile diva. Could it be that their mother is Yi Kexin herself? How could that be? Even if the diva were blind, she would never marry a delivery rider. Seeing the comments, Jiang Nianyi paused, then took a closer look. They were practically miniature versions of Yi Kexin. Suddenly, she asked with a grin, can I come to your home and meet your children? The viewers want to see miniature Yi Kexins too. You smiled and nodded. I am picking them up from kindergarten at 2 this afternoon. We can pick them up together. Jiang Nianyi was delighted. After all, Yi Kexin was her idol. Getting to meet miniature Yi Kexins made her very happy too. Soon, the car drove into the parking lot of an old restaurant. Jiang Nianyi was stunned when she got out. This restaurant was a century-old institution. One meal here could cost an ordinary person a month's salary. This place is too expensive. I think we should go somewhere else. You waved it off. It is fine. We have not seen each other in so long. So, do not stand on ceremony with me. Besides, I do not care much about money. And anyway, making money is easy for me. It takes no time at all. But your answer made the viewers think you were addicted to pretending. The Xiaomo is hilarious. Does he not know his own limits? And he brought our Nianyi to such an upscale restaurant. She knew the viewers were mocking you. She wanted to tell you that everyone knew you were a delivery rider, so you would stop boasting. But she was afraid of embarrassing you. When Jiang Nianyi suddenly fell silent, you smiled and said, fine, then. I will teach you all a quick way to make money. With that, you drove around the parking lot. When you spotted a million-yuan sports car backing into a space, you suddenly accelerated. In an instant, you stopped behind the sports car. Jiang Nianyi and the viewers were both baffled. There were plenty of parking spaces. There was no need to fight someone for one. Just as the viewers thought you were about to stage an insurance scam. What you did left them speechless. The sports car owner was cursing furiously. You took out 800 yuan and held it out to him. I cannot be bothered finding another spot. Here is 800 yuan. Take it and find another parking space. Consider it a gesture of friendship. But the sports car owner frowned. He pulled the cash from his pocket, without even looking at it, grabbed a wad of bills, and threw them in front of you. Then he sneered, I do not want this parking space anymore. I was flexing before you were even born. After watching the sports car owner throw down cash and leave, the viewers gaped and shouted, holy crap. Jiang Nianyi was equally incredulous. Just then, you picked up the cash from the ground. Smiling at her, you said, that guy was pretty loaded. 6,500 yuan. Lunch is covered today. Jiang Nianyi's lips twitched. She really could not pull off something like that. But the livestream viewers were stunned. Holy crap, in just a few minutes, he made over 6,000 yuan. That money came way too easily. I just tried it. This method works. I made 100,000 yuan. Now I am lying in the hospital. After the other driver beat me up. Not long after, you led Jiang Nianyi into the restaurant. She glanced at the menu. Nothing on it was cheap. She sighed inwardly. In her eyes, you were only trying to save face, which was why you ordered the expensive dishes. Yet seeing how composed you were, left her briefly dazed. It felt as though you came here often. You shook your head. Then you said to Jiang Nianyi, classmate Jiang, there is something I have wanted to tell you. I do not usually watch live streams, but I do not think your live stream is very good. They are dull and boring. Hearing that, Jiang Nianyi froze. Why do you think that? She felt a little indignant. She was a top streamer with tens of millions of followers. You shook your head and explained your view. We have barely interacted this whole trip. We may only be ordinary classmates, but this is a live stream. Even with strangers, you need to talk as if you know each other. Jiang Nianyi looked slightly uncomfortable. Of course she knew that, but the problem was, she no longer dared ask questions. The viewers reacted even more strongly. A delivery rider is pretending to be rich. How is our Nian supposed to interact with him? Our Nian is not interacting, because she is sparing your dignity. If it were me, I would tell him to his face. You are a delivery rider. Who are you trying to fool? And you think you can teach me how to livestream? Jiang Nianyi noticed the comments. She was taken aback, and could not help stealing a glance at you. Should she expose you? No. If she told you the truth, you would be mortified. But if she said nothing, the viewers would only mock you more. As Jiang Nianyi agonized over whether to tell you, a private message popped up. It was from her best friend and business partner, Zhou Xuya. Nian, I know what you are thinking. Do not tell him the truth yet. The stream is at peak popularity right now. After the stream ends, we can invite him to join our studio. We can make him a 1 million follower influencer. He will definitely earn more than he does delivering food. In Zhou Xuya's view, you were talented too. Setting aside your shameless boasting, that trick of getting rich by taking parking spots was not something an ordinary person would think of. After reading the message, the weight in Jiang Nianyi's heart seemed to lift. You smiled and shook your head. Are the viewers mocking me for being a gold digger again? Jiang Nianyi's eyes widened at once. How did you know? Then you added with a smile. I also know that when we first met, the viewers said my car was rented. You really do not need to care about what people say online. Just know that people unhappy with their real lives reveal their true nature online, spouting their so-called opinions without restraint. It is nothing more than jealousy. They mock those without and resent those with. It is human nature. As a streamer, you should take it more in stride. Hearing that, Jiang Nianyi was utterly stunned. But in the livestream chat, the viewers burst out laughing. That is hilarious. Who does he think he is? An expert, a professor. He is actually lecturing people. He is a delivery rider. Why would we possibly envy him? I hate people who are broke but still pretend to be rich. If I did not know the truth, I would have almost thought he was some successful big shot. You had no idea. Your words had offended many viewers. You looked at Jiang Nianyi and smiled. We are old classmates meeting up. Do not worry about what anyone else says. Relax. Ask whatever you want. No need to hold back. Only then did Jiang Nianyi suddenly realize that from the very beginning until now, you had always been the one starting the conversations. Later, you had even personally taught the viewers how to get rich fast. Thinking of that, she felt deeply ashamed. She drew a deep breath, clearing the tangled thoughts from her mind. Then she asked earnestly, "Classmate Xiao, I remember you often took leave during our senior year. And did you not sit the college entrance exam?" You smiled and nodded. "That is right. During my senior year, some of my family's land was requisitioned. We received several hundred million yuan in compensation." At those words, the livestream chat exploded. "That is hilarious. Only someone who never finished high school would say that. Can you put a price on knowledge? Money can run out one day. But knowledge is like a spring that never runs dry." I agree. Being uneducated is simply unacceptable. So here is the question. If you had to choose between 100 million yuan and admission to Tsinghua or Peking University, which would you choose? Nianyi ignored livestream comments. Instead, she looked at you in confusion. So, because you received several hundred million yuan in compensation, you chose to take a leave from school. You shrugged and said casually, "The purpose of college is to gain more knowledge. But for me, there is nothing left for me to learn in college." At that moment, Nianyi had only one thought. "You told me to ask anything, but you cannot answer so recklessly." Sure enough, the livestream chat was about to explode again. At the same time, viewers had already turned clips of you into memes. "There is nothing left to learn in college. Making money takes only minutes. My family received several hundred million yuan in relocation compensation. No one expected your memes to be driven by unseen hands and spread rapidly across the internet." Nianyi looked at you with a conflicted expression. She regretted not telling you from the start that your identity had been exposed. Now, you were getting more addicted to your act. Although this restaurant's food was exceptionally delicious, she had no appetite for it now. She drew a deep breath and looked at you. "Classmate Xiao, you said your family's land was requisitioned, and the compensation was several hundred million yuan. But as far as I know, outside of certain cities, when rural land is requisitioned, the compensation is generally not that high." Hearing that, the livestream viewers immediately got excited. "Great question, Nian. Right to the point. Let us see how he keeps pretending now." Yet you were not fazed in the slightest. "I thought it was something serious. Although, compensation for most rural land acquisitions is indeed not high. But my family's land was rather special. So, we received a bit more compensation." Hearing that, the livestream viewers were unconvinced again. "Nian, do not believe him. If he really got over 100 million yuan in compensation, I will eat shit on livestream. No matter how special his land was, as long as it was in the countryside. Forget hundreds of millions in compensation. He would not even get a few million." Nianyi paid no attention to the livestream comments. She was simply disappointed by what you said. In her memory, you had been an honest, down-to-earth person. She never expected that after entering the working world, even someone innocent could become complicated and restless. Her expression then turned serious, and she gave you a long lecture. For the moment, you could not explain much, so you changed the subject. You began talking about the past. You joked, "Class beauty Jiang. You still love lecturing people." Then you asked, "Do you know why I agreed to meet you?" "Why?" Nianyi asked instinctively. As for that question, she had not thought much of it. After all, whenever she asked a male classmate to meet, the success rate was over 90%. She did not know why. Seeing her puzzled expression, you gave a faint smile. "Back in high school, I was rather introverted, and I was not good with words, so no one ever took the initiative to talk to me. But you alone often asked about my grades, and encouraged me to study hard. Perhaps to you, it was a trivial thing, but to me, it made me feel less invisible." At this, Nianyi looked at you, her cheeks faintly flushed. "I am sure plenty of people still remember you." She was not blushing because of what you said. The truth was, the reason she had done that was to improve her year ranking. But she certainly could not say that aloud. Meanwhile, on the set of a production, quite a few crew members were watching a breathtakingly beautiful woman. That woman was none other than Yikexen, known as the nation's goddess. Perhaps, those who did not know Yikexen found her proud and aloof, but those who knew her understood that she was warm-hearted. Many people wondered, who could marry a woman like her, both inside and outside the industry? Yikexen's husband remained a mystery, but everyone knew her husband was no ordinary man. Once, the head of an entertainment company, wanted Yi Kexin to accompany him. He threatened that if she did not please him, he would blacklist her. But who could have expected that entertainment company to go bankrupt within days? It sent shockwaves through the industry. After all, that entertainment company was one of the country's top 3 major companies. That made many people realize just how terrifying the power behind Yi Kexin truly was. She was reading her script when a quiet voice suddenly reached her ears. "The Xiao Mo is hilarious. A guy who did not even finish high school actually says college has nothing left to teach him." Yi Kexin thought she had misheard. She did not give it much thought, but the hushed conversation reached her again. "Actually, I can understand why Xiao Mo rented a luxury car to meet the class beauty." So she walked over to the 2 girls. She asked, "I heard you two chatting so eagerly just now. What were you talking about? Could you tell me?" When Yi Kexin suddenly appeared beside them, the 2 girls hurriedly replied, "Goddessy, we were watching a live stream. A very popular female influencer is streaming while meeting a former high school classmate. The male classmate in this episode is really interesting." Listening to the 2 girls, Yi Kexin took the phone and looked at the live stream. On screen, an utterly ordinary-looking man was dining with a beautiful young woman, laughing and chatting together. At the sight, Yi Kexin narrowed her lovely eyes, her red lips curving into a beautiful smile. The 2 girls were utterly transfixed by the sight. She was simply too beautiful. Yi Kexin returned the phone and thanked the girl with a smile. Then she gave a slight nod and left. After returning to her seat, she immediately took out her phone and opened that live stream. The comment section was now flooding with messages. They were all saying that Nianyi was that ordinary-looking man's unattainable first love. Yi Kexin read the viewers' comments, and her red lips curved again. She watched the live stream with great interest. But when she saw comments accusing the man of posing as a rich guy, her delicate brows drew tightly together. Even her assistant beside her felt the air around them growing colder and colder. Meanwhile, a man's voice interrupted your conversation with Nianyi. It was your high school classmate, Tianyu. He sat down with a pretense of modesty, but his eyes flashed with obvious mockery as he looked at you. His arrival made the female viewer's eyes light up. Nianyi immediately stood to introduce him. "But you said, I know him. We met a few days ago." You then invited him to join you for dinner. Just then, beautiful piano music filled the hall. Before long, the piano piece slowly faded away. The hall fell silent for a moment, before applause broke out. Tianyu smiled at Nianyi. "That pianist was not very good. How about I play something? I am Mr. Li Yiguo's student." Nianyi's eyes widened. After all, Li Yiguo was a renowned pianist in the country. Tianyu smiled confidently and slowly walked to the piano in the center of the hall. He basked in everyone's attention as he slowly raised his hands. Then his fingers danced lightly over the keys, like a noble prince. At once, he drew the eyes of every woman in the hall. Soon, the piano piece came to an end. Applause immediately rang out around him. Though Tianyu looked composed, inside, he was immensely pleased with himself. "Nianyi, what did you think of my playing?" It sounded wonderful. Nianyi had never studied piano, so she only knew that it sounded good. After receiving the class beauty's praise, he turned his disdainful gaze on you again. "Xiao Mo, what do you think?" Without a moment's hesitation, you said, "It was all right, but compared with the pianist from earlier, you are far behind." Your words nearly made Tianyu laugh. He wanted to point at your nose and say, "You are just a food deliveryman. What do you know about playing the piano?" In the live stream, some viewers also thought Tianyu had not played very well, but their remarks were soon drowned out by the haters. Tianyu then said in a mocking tone, "Why not let Xiao Mo play something too? I would love to learn from you." You nodded. Then you slowly walked toward the center of the hall. Soon, a beautiful melody slowly rose from the piano. It was the very piece Tianyu had just played. The live stream immediately exploded. "Damn, Xiao Mo really can play the piano. Xiao Mo really got to show off this time. It is clearly the same piece. So why does Xiao Mo's version sound better than Lin's?" The viewers were not the only ones who felt that way. Even Nianyi was deeply shocked. Meanwhile, Tianyu's expression grew darker and darker. At the same time, in a classroom at Jingdu Music Academy in Longguo, beautiful notes filled the room. All the students had gathered around to watch the live stream. "Do you all think Xiao Mo plays even better than our Professor Liu?" The students whispered among themselves. They did not notice a middle-aged man slowly approaching. The middle-aged man gave a few light coughs, then said sternly, "Do you not know class has started? And you are still playing Mozart's piano music?" "Professor, it is not a recording. Someone is playing it live." The professor froze for a moment, then hurriedly picked up a phone to look. Shock flashed through his eyes. Seeing his expression, a student asked, "Professor, how does your piano skill compare to the person in the live stream?" The professor shook his head. "I am not his equal." Every student was stunned. After all, Professor Liu's piano skills ranked among the best at the academy. The professor quietly savored the music, marveling inwardly. The person in the phone's live stream made him feel as though Mozart himself were playing. Mozart was universally recognized as the world's greatest pianist. No one knew his identity. When the professor saw people in the live stream insulting Xiao, saying he played terribly, he immediately snatched the student's phone. He replied, "I am a professor at Jingdu Music Academy. Here is my employment identification. Here is my piano certification. I can say with certainty that Xiao's piano skills are exceptional. At the very least, they surpass mine." The moment that comment appeared, the entire livestream flooded with cries of, "Holy crap!" Jingdu Music Academy held a highly prestigious position in Longguo. After all, a teacher at Jingdu Music Academy was even more prestigious. At that moment, Lin Tianyu noticed Zhang Nianyi staring blankly at her phone. He asked her about it. Zhang Nianyi looked up and told him what had happened in the live stream. Lin Tianyu frowned after hearing it. Could that professor be a fake? Naturally, Lin Tianyu did not believe. Your piano skills could be that good, but so no one would think he was jealous. He added, "Nian, you know how it is. There are too many real and fake things online these days. Any image can be faked." Lin Tianyu's words also resonated with the haters in the live stream. Lin is right. Who knows whether that so-called Jingdu Music Academy professor is real or fake? These days, any image can be digitally altered. Maybe those Music Academy professors' credentials could all have been digitally altered. But what they did not expect was this. Professor Liu saw people claiming his credentials had been digitally altered. He acted at once, contacting the Academy's publicity department and asking them to issue an official statement. When Zhang Nianyi saw Jingdu Music Academy's statement, she was thrilled. "Lin, look, Jingdu Music Academy posted on its official account. It says Professor Liu really is a professor at Jingdu Music Academy." Lin Tianyu gave a smile that did not reach his eyes. "I did not expect Xiao to be so impressive." Even an academy professor praised him. Resentment and jealousy flashed in his eyes. He was the one who should have been basking in a beauty's admiration. Yet that bastard Xiao had ruined everything. But just then, the once lively piano melody suddenly became brisk and urgent. A cascade of nimble notes echoed through the hall, like waves in a storm, drawing everyone's emotions along with it. Everyone was astonished, quietly losing themselves in the music. Before long, after you finished playing Moonlight Sonata, you slowly rose to your feet. The entire hall was silent as the grave. After a brief silence, everyone rose and applauded. Their applause thundered through the hall, far more passionately than when Lin Tianyu had performed. "Xiao, I never knew you were hiding such talent. You even pretended not to understand piano before. That was not very fair of you." Lin Tianyu's smile was exceptionally warm, but every word implied you had been scheming. You clearly knew how to play piano, yet pretended you could not. You slowly shook your head and said, "I told you, I only know a little." Lin Tianyu was left speechless. You call that knowing a little? Then, what did that make him? But then he remembered that you had not even finished high school. What good were piano skills? No matter how great, you were still just a delivery driver. "Xiao, who taught you piano?" Zhang Nianyi asked curiously. "I taught myself in my spare time. I play piano, only as a hobby," you said with a smile. Hearing that, the livestream chat erupted again. Maybe this is reality. Piano is a passion, but food delivery pays the bills. It proves that no matter how talented someone is, without financial support, they still have to bow to reality. Seeing the comments, Zhang Nianyi's gaze turned complicated. That is right. You are not alone now. You need to provide for your family. You need to work hard for them. How could you have so much time to pursue your own passions? Xiao, if you are facing any difficulties, you can tell us. We are classmates, after all. If we can help, we certainly will. Even though we are live streaming. Do not put on a brave face just to save face. Lin Tianyu sighed, making it seem as though you were only too embarrassed to speak because of the live stream. Jiang Nianyi wanted to help you too, but she had not planned to bring it up on the live stream. She had intended to wait until it was over before asking whether you needed help. But Lin Tianyu said it first. She did not think much of it, assuming Lin Tianyu meant well. Then, Lin Tianyu took a business card from his breast pocket. He handed it to you. You looked at it and saw Lin Tianyu, Chief Executive Officer of Tianyu Real Estate. Seeing this, Lin Tianyu gave a modest smile. It is nothing. Just a small company. Though we have been busy preparing to go public lately, our valuation may multiply several times once we do. You could naturally hear the boast in his words, but you did not care in the slightest. You merely gave a quiet, indifferent hum. At your reaction, Lin Tianyu could not help frowning. He was deeply displeased, but could not show it now. During the meal that followed, most of the time, Lin Tianyu was talking with Jiang Nianyi. Yet when she saw you quietly eating, Jiang Nianyi felt a surge of guilt in her heart. I am going to the restroom. Jiang Nianyi figured it was about time. She stood up. If you are paying the bill, just say so. Why claim you are going to the restroom? You, who had been quiet all this time, suddenly said with a laugh. Jiang Nianyi flushed with embarrassment and did not know what to do with herself. She had not expected you to see through her intentions so quickly. Xiao, please do not make this difficult for me. The rules for our live stream say that all expenses during it are covered by my company. I can claim it back when I return. You considered it for a moment and did not refuse. Contempt flashed in Lin Tianyu's eyes. In his view, you agreed so quickly because you could not afford the meal. The livestream viewers also began mocking you. This is hilarious. He only brought enough for 3 dishes and a soup. Then Lin suddenly showed up and ordered several more dishes. He does not have enough money. Did he not say he got hundreds of millions in compensation? How can he not even afford one meal? And he needs a woman to pay for it. Unlike your ready agreement, Lin Tianyu strongly objected to Jiang Nianyi paying. He even said, when it comes to paying the bill, it should be the men who do it. That won him the unanimous favor of many female viewers. But the male viewers were dismissive of Lin Tianyu's behavior. They thought he was a wolf in sheep's clothing, with ulterior motives. As a result, the livestream chat suddenly became a battle of the sexes. How about this? Let us split the bill. Then there will be nothing to argue about, you suggested with a smile. By then, Jiang Nianyi had grown thoroughly disgusted with Lin Tianyu. This meeting had originally been arranged for you. It was bad enough that he had inserted himself into it, but he was even trying to take over. Just then, you suddenly called Jiang Nianyi over, then took a coupon from your wallet and handed it to her. But when Jiang Nianyi took the coupon and looked at it, she froze. 90% off. The livestream chat was stunned. Holy crap, that is unbelievably generous. Even a clearance sale would not be this cheap. Would this restaurant not lose money issuing a 90% off coupon? I think it probably has something to do with his job. He is a delivery driver, and he knows the staff at this restaurant. So having an internal discount is not surprising. Seeing that comment, Jiang Nianyi suddenly understood. After the bill was paid, something suddenly came up, and you left. Jiang Nianyi was quite surprised. She had really wanted to meet your 2 children. That afternoon, Jiang Nianyi returned to the studio. But before she could even rest, her co-workers surrounded her in celebration. The livestream had set a record with 1 million viewers online. And all of it was because of you. Jiang Nianyi sat on the sofa and looked at Zhou Shuya as she spoke. Because Xiao left so suddenly, she had not gotten the chance to ask him about joining the studio. Zhou Shuya told her to call and ask him. But surprisingly, your number was out of service. That inevitably raised suspicions. With Longwo's famously relentless infrastructure build-out, there should be nowhere without a signal. For now, all they could do was wait. The next day, Jiang Nianyi went live again. After a heated debate among the viewers, they finally chose to meet a short, plump female classmate. This time, they found her after asking around a little. The two agreed on a meeting place. As Jiang Nianyi waited for the high school classmate she was meeting, She chatted with her livestream viewers. Then, at that moment, a gentle voice called out. Jiang Nianyi turned the camera toward the sound. The comments immediately flooded the screen. A stunning beauty had appeared on camera. Liu Nan swept back her voluminous curls. Jiang Nianyi truly had not recognized her. No matter what high school classmates go through, more or less, they retain traces of how they looked as students. But this former classmate before her looked completely transformed. Liu Nan's entrance sent the Livestream's appeal through the roof. Yet Jiang Nianyi could not shake the feeling that Liu Nan's face looked somehow unnatural. Especially when she smiled, her face seemed stiff. As Jiang Nianyi chatted casually with Liu Nan, the viewers learned that she was still single. She also documented her wonderful life in short videos. Her account, which had originally had just over 10,000 followers, was exposed on the livestream and quickly surged past 100,000 followers. At the viewers' request, Jiang Nianyi dug deeper into Liu Nan's current life and work, satisfying the viewers' curiosity. But unexpectedly, after this livestream, the traffic for Jiang Nianyi's high school classmate reunion streams saw a noticeable decline. Zhou Shuya furrowed her brow thoughtfully. Just as she expected, Jiang Nianyi's high school classmate, Liu Nan, had started livestreaming too. Except she was meeting middle school classmates. Her livestream title even read, 10 million follower influencer. Jiang Nianyi's high school classmate. She was clearly riding Jiang Nianyi's coattails. No wonder their livestream was getting less and less attention. More infuriating still, Liu Nan had gained 1 million followers by riding that wave. Zhou Shuya had known this day would come, but she never expected it would be Jiang Nianyi's own classmate, stabbing her in the back. But after Jiang Nianyi found out, she did not feel much about it. After all, she was merely the first to try something new. Copycats were bound to appear sooner or later. Yet surprisingly, Lin Tianyu, Liu Nan, and Xiao were not only high school classmates, but middle school classmates as well. Meanwhile, Liu Nan was meeting Lin Tianyu, whose assets exceeded 100 million yuan. She blinked her eyes and suddenly brought you up. She said your family had received several 100 million yuan in demolition compensation, which she deeply envied. With a look of disdain, Lin Tianyu revealed on the livestream how pathetic you had looked when he saw you delivering food. As the two talked about this, the livestream viewers suggested Liu Nan meet you in her next stream. The moment your name came up, Liu Nan's livestream popularity soared. In fact, before the livestream, Lin Tianyu had already met with Liu Nan, and bringing you up this time was entirely deliberate. They wanted to expose you for pretending to be rich. Seizing the moment, Liu Nan called your number, but heard that it was out of service. Meanwhile, Zhou Shuya saw that Liu Nan could not reach you, and breathed a sigh of relief. She had truly feared Liu Nan might actually get you to meet her. You were hugely popular on short video platforms now, especially your reaction memes. At that moment, your memes had become an even bigger phenomenon than the viral Genie Time meme. Viewers had even crowned you the greatest show-off of all time. But the next moment, Zhou Shuya thought of something crucial. She began urging Jiang Nianyi on, since something came up last time. You had left halfway through the livestream, so she asked Jiang Nianyi to invite you again. But Jiang Nianyi did not want to see you mocked by viewers. But Zhou Shuya tempted her, saying, this could benefit him too. As long as he is willing, he can capitalize on the attention and make several 100,000 yuan from a single ad deal. That is far better than delivering food. Jiang Nianyi hesitated, but eventually nodded in agreement. Just then, after trying your number several times, Liu Nan finally got through. On your end, when you heard an incredibly seductive voice, you warily cut her off. I am not buying a car, a house, or insurance. I am not taking a loan or making investments. Thank you. Then you immediately hung up. Liu Nan was not the only one left dumbfounded, and so were the viewers watching the live stream. Could Xiao have mistaken the streamer for a spam caller again? Liu Nan finally came to her senses. She dialed your number again. Afraid you would hang up again, Liu Nan quickly explained that she was your middle school classmate. She recently started live streaming too, meeting up with middle school classmates. When you heard it was another reunion livestream, you flatly refused. As Liu Nan listened to the busy tone, she felt deeply annoyed. She was always the one hanging up on others, but she was live right now. So, she could only think of another way after the stream. Meanwhile, at the studio, Zhou Shuya and Jiang Nianyi watched Liunan's live stream. Neither expected you to refuse so decisively. A terrible thought suddenly crossed Jiang Nianyi's mind. Could he have been unable to bear the online abuse and done something rash, which was why his phone had stayed out of service? With that thought, she hurriedly took out her phone and called you. Xiao, it's me, Jiang Nianyi. About our previous meetup. I am very sorry. I am the reason people insulted you online. Hearing that, you asked in confusion. What did you say? What online abuse? Jiang Nianyi froze for a moment and instinctively asked. You did not know. You replied with a smile. I thought it was something serious. Didn't I say last time? Online, many people resent the rich. Jealous people are everywhere. There is no need to take it so seriously. Aren't you angry? Jiang Nianyi thought you would be furious. But to her surprise, not only were you not angry, you even comforted her instead. What is there to be angry about? People can say whatever they want, however they choose to comment. I cannot stop them. There is no need to let something so trivial ruin your mood. But as for food delivery, I really did deliver food before. I also ran into Tianyu on the road last time. But I delivered food purely for fun. You fell silent for a moment, then continued explaining. Just consider it a hobby. Actually, food delivery is not the only job I have done. I have worked construction, swept streets, and been a security guard. Food delivery is just a hobby. Jiang Nianyi and Zhou Shuya exchanged a glance. Though the call was not on speaker, the office was exceptionally quiet, so Zhou Shuya could still hear your voice. She lowered her voice and leaned close to Jiang Nianyi's ear, whispering, Forget that for now. Ask Xiao whether he has time for another reunion livestream in a few days. Jiang Nianyi hesitated. Liunan had called you several times about a livestream meetup before, but you had repeatedly refused, saying you had no time. But thinking of that miniature Yi Kexen, she could not help asking, Xiao, there is something I would like to ask of you. Could you do another livestream meetup with me? Our last meetup livestream did very well. A lot of viewers want to see you again. You could not help but smile. I think they just want to laugh at me. Jiang Nianyi was at a loss for words, and immediately apologized. Xiao, I am sorry, but you said indifferently. I already told you. I do not care about those online comments. Then can I meet with you again? My Livestream's popularity has been dropping lately, and I want to see your two children too. You know, the national goddess is my idol. I just want to see two children who look just like her. Jiang Nianyi's voice grew quieter and quieter. By the end, she did not know what else to say. All right, then. But it will have to be in a few days. After thinking it over, you agreed. Jiang Nianyi was instantly excited. No problem. A few days it is. After hanging up, Jiang Nianyi excitedly looked at Zhou Shuya. Zhou Shuya found it both irritating and amusing. Why did her best friend seem as though she had just arranged a meeting with some big shot? Still, Xiao seemed to be no less popular than some major celebrities. Jiang Nianyi smiled foolishly. She did not know why. Maybe it was because she had gotten you abused online last time. Or perhaps for some other reason. Could someone really not care about cyberbullying? Puzzled, she asked Zhou Shuya. Zhou Shuya thought it over. That is possible. After all, Xiao has worked as a delivery driver. The reality delivery driver's face is harsher than the internet. Jiang Nianyi suddenly lowered her head and said, I think he may not have a stable job right now. He has actually worked so many different jobs. Meanwhile, after Liunan ended her livestream, she went to a hotel with Tianyu. Tianyu wrapped his arms tightly around Liunan's slim waist. Just then, Liunan's phone popped up with a trending topic about herself. She immediately got excited, but when she read what it said, she angrily shoved Tianyu away. It turned out, Jiang Nianyi had posted online that you agreed to meet her. But in Liunan's eyes, you agreed to meet her only because Jiang Nianyi was beautiful, or so she believed. So, she believed your impression of her was still stuck in high school. In an instant, an idea crossed Liunan's mind. Her red lips slowly curled into a smile. At last, the day of Jiang Nianyi's meetup arrived. The moment she went live, countless viewers flooded in. Had heaven not created you, Xiao, the age of showing off would be an endless night. I wonder if this time he will rent another luxury car to pick up the streamer. The chat was flooded with messages. Seeing viewers still say, "You were pretending to be rich." Jiang Nianyi repeated your explanation from a few days ago, but the viewers did not believe it at all. Unable to clear up the misunderstanding for now, Jiang Nianyi quickly changed the subject. Today's meetup is not an ordinary one. The real stars today are Xiaomo's children. But the newcomers did not care. They figured a show-off's kids would be nothing worth seeing. His children look exactly like the national goddess. When they pulled up the photos they had screenshotted earlier and shared them, the entire livestream erupted. That show-off is seriously impressive. This is clearly trying to make me want kids. Suddenly, a voice feigning surprise rang out. Jiang Nianyi instinctively turned around. It was Liunan. She gave a seductive smile. What a coincidence. I just came to grab a meal, but I never expected to run into you here. Are you live streaming? Jiang Nianyi nodded, a trace of confusion in her eyes. Liunan waved at the livestream as if they were old friends. Seeing this, the viewers began commenting. That is far too convenient. The county town may be small, but for the people who do not even live here, running into each other cannot be that easy, right? Could Liunan have learned the streamer was meeting the king of pretenders and come here on purpose? Do not say that. A show-off is not exactly some prize catch. He is not worth beautiful women flocking to him. But before long, a flood of Liunan's fans entered the livestream. What a joke! Is Xiaomo really more popular than our Nanan? Our Nanan was already hugely popular. Why would she need to ride Jiang Nianyi's popularity? I think it is the other way around. Someone is trying to ride another person's popularity again. For a moment, the livestream chat was full of hostility. Just then, you appeared on an electric scooter at the entrance. The livestream instantly erupted. After all, your entrance this time was completely beyond everyone's expectations. Liunan covered her mouth and snickered. Her eyes were filled with disdain. He was plain-looking, poor, and pretentious. How could someone like him even get married? She wondered. Which woman had been blind enough to marry him? Jiang Nianyi snapped out of it and immediately stepped forward to greet you. Seeing this, Liunan spoke first. Xiaomo, I heard from Yi that you drive a luxury car worth several million. Where is it? Jiang Nianyi frowned. Never mind whether Liunan's question was appropriate. Who exactly was the streamer here? After hearing Liunan, you looked at Jiang Nianyi in confusion. Jiang Nianyi, is this your friend? Just as Jiang Nianyi was about to introduce her, Liunan cut her off. Xiaomo, you really are forgetful. We went to middle school and high school together. I even called you a few days ago to ask you out. You turned me down then. After thinking for a moment, you remembered. You are the one who called me several times a few days ago. What was your name again? Liunan's expression stiffened, but she still put on a seductive smile. Liunan, your expression remained flat as you nodded. I really do not remember you very well. I happen to have our old graduation photo. Jiang Nianyi took a photo from her shoulder bag. You took the graduation photo and looked at it. Then you stared at Liunan in surprise. She looks nothing like this. You then shook your head and returned the photo to Jiang Nianyi. At once, many viewers began mocking her. It was obvious they suspected Liunan had plastic surgery. Liunan noticed the livestream comments too and immediately changed the subject. Xiaomo, getting back to it. Where is your $1 million luxury car? Do not tell me you plan to pick Yi up on that little scooter? Liunan covered her mouth and giggled. She wanted to see how this loser would answer. But you shook your head without the slightest concern. Commissioner Jiang and I are going to a kindergarten. Driving is inconvenient. The roads are narrow and a car like that would attract too much attention. So, an electric scooter is the better choice. It is easy to park, and you do not have to worry about traffic. In the live stream, many viewers burst out laughing at your explanation. As expected of the king of pretenders, that explanation is flawless. It is not that he does not want to drive. He just wants to keep a low profile. Never mind whether the king of pretenders even has $1 million luxury car. But driving a car to pick children up from school, I hate that most of all. They clog the entrance every time. Who does not own a car these days? As for what you said, Liunan did not believe a word of it. In her eyes, you were just putting on an act. If you really had $1 million luxury car, you would drive it to the school gates every day to show it off. But Liu Nan's sarcastic jabs did not bother you. Instead, you looked at Jiang Nianyi. It is almost time. Commissioner Jiang, you do not mind riding on my scooter, do you? Not at all. Jiang Nianyi was somewhat surprised that you had come on an electric scooter. But she truly did not mind. Liu Nan, on the other hand, was deeply annoyed. Still, she forced a smile. Can I come too? I am curious too. I want to see what Xiaomo's children look like. Sorry, but I only have two helmets. And scooter regulations say only one adult can ride on the back. Then you motioned for Jiang Nianyi to get on. As for Liu Nan, if she wanted to follow, she could find her own way. Watching the scooter disappear, Liu Nan dropped the act. Her eyes were full of contempt. You focused on driving the scooter the entire way. Jiang Nianyi sat behind you, holding her phone. Xiaomo, you are taking me to see your daughter. Your wife will not get mad if she finds out, will she? No, she is very busy. She does not have time to come. Keeping your eyes ahead, you answered. Before long, you stopped outside a kindergarten. Just then, a burly middle-aged man greeted you with a smile. Xiaoming's dad. You are here too. Is this Xiaoming's mom? You have the wrong idea. She is my high school classmate. We happened to come together today. Jiang Nianyi noticed that. Once you arrived at the kindergarten, quite a few parents warmly greeted you. Xiaomo, I heard those parents call you Xiaoming's dad. Your son's name is not really Xiaoming, is it? You smiled and nodded. Yes, why? Jiang Nianyi was a little surprised. Do you not think that name is too simple? Not at all. Names with fewer strokes are easier to write and easier to remember. That helps when they are in kindergarten and elementary school. You gave a soft laugh. What is your daughter's name, then? Jiang Nianyi was curious. In her view, your daughter's name should be simple too. Is it Xiaohong? Her name is Yuan. You answered without hesitation. Jiang Nianyi's eyes lit up. I never expected you to give your daughter such a lovely name. Wait, who was it that just said names should be easy to write and easy to remember? Well, I thought long and hard before choosing that name. I am quite pleased with it. But Jiang Nianyi, standing beside you, gave you a very strange look. The livestream viewers burst out laughing. Just then, a voice drew everyone's attention. Liu Nan had not expected such terrible traffic on the way to the kindergarten. After finally arriving, she was stopped by the security guards. So she immediately shouted, Xiaomo. You went over and quietly explained a few things to the guards. Only then did they let Liu Nan in. Meanwhile, several parents surrounded you with questions, mainly because Liu Nan was dressed far too scantily for a kindergarten. Liu Nan looked down on you from the bottom of her heart, especially after hearing that since the children started kindergarten, you had always taken them to and from school. She looked down on you even more. She guessed your wife had probably run off with someone. Thinking of that, she hurried over to ask the kindergarten guards whether they had ever seen your wife. When they learned you had always dropped the children off, the viewers began speculating too. She had never taken the children to or from school. That meant your wife was not her own. Either something had happened to her, and she was no longer alive, or the two of you were divorced. Meanwhile, on a film set, Yinzhiman had finally finished filming for the day. She was riding back to the hotel in her van to rest, when her phone notified her that Xiaonian, whom she followed, had gone live. Remembering what her husband had told her a few days earlier, she opened the live stream on her phone. Liu Nan's speculation was on screen. Along with the comments flooding the chat, Yinzhiman furrowed her brow. Although her husband had always supported her career over the years, she knew deep down that she owed her family far too much, especially her husband and children. It was time to put her family first. You glanced at Liu Nan and said, I suppose you could call her an actress. Naturally, Liu Nan did not believe you when she heard your wife was an actress. Many viewers immediately mocked you. Liu Nan covered her mouth. She put on a look of great surprise, but a flash of contempt passed through her eyes. This man really knew how to put on an act. First, he rented a luxury car to pretend he was rich. Now he was claiming his wife was an actress, a star. Why not just say, your wife is the national goddess, Yinzhiman? Liu Nan pressed on. I never expected Xiaomo's wife to be an actress. What films or television dramas has she been in? Jiang Nianyi had actually wanted to stop Liu Nan, but Liu Nan asked too quickly. She is just a minor actress, that is all. Liu Nan sneered inwardly. He would not even dare say her name. Even if Xiao Mo's wife really was an actress, she was probably just a bit player with only a few lines. What else could she be? If I said my wife was Yi Kexin, would you believe me? You asked with a smile. Liu Nan suddenly laughed. It was the funniest joke she had ever heard. If the national goddess, Yi Kexin, could ever fall for such a loser, she would run naked around the world. Jiang Nianyi sighed inwardly. She knew your habit of showing off had struck again. Your words also made the viewers laugh. They knew the Pretender King could bluff, but never imagined the Pretender King could bluff this shamelessly. Even though the Pretender King's children did resemble Yi Kexin somewhat, he could not seriously believe his wife was the nation's goddess, could he? Meanwhile, the kindergarten program finally began. After the children from the other classes had performed, it was finally time for your two children to take the stage. I am sure all the parents are eagerly awaiting the next performance. Please welcome the children of Class C as they present a martial arts performance. Kung Fu Kids. At the host teacher's rousing announcement, more than 10 children ran onto the stage. They wore bright yellow outfits, tied at the waist with red sashes. They saluted the parents with clasped fists. Their movements were perfectly synchronized and remarkably convincing. Before anyone knew it, they had split into pairs and began sparring back and forth. Every exchange was answered in kind. Their fancy evasive moves in particular drew cheers from many parents. The livestream viewers were utterly stunned. I bet the kindergarten teachers hired some martial arts master to teach them. This scene quickly sent Jiang Nianyi's livestream popularity soaring to its peak. Jiang Nianyi looked behind her. Behind her, a row of parents watched the stage with great interest. Xiaoming's dad is the impressive one. Xiaoming's dad. Yes, Xiaoming's dad taught all these children martial arts. Then more voices faintly reached Jiang Nianyi's ears. To confirm her suspicion, she leaned close to you and asked softly, Xiao Mo, I heard people saying you designed this performance. I only know a little martial arts. It is nothing special. You shook your head and replied with a smile, I only know a little martial arts. So it really was you, Xiao Mo. You know martial arts too. Jiang Nianyi was stunned. The livestream viewers were equally shocked. Soon, the martial arts performance ended. The children's martial arts performance was spectacular. It got my blood pumping. And next, we have another performance from our Class C children. The safe-to-themed fairy tale, Little Bunny, Be Good. Little Bunny, Be Good. At the host teacher's introduction, scattered applause rose around them. Jiang Nianyi looked toward the stage, and her eyes lit up. At that moment, 3 children dressed as adorable little rabbits sang in sweet, childish voices, while hopping lightly across the stage. The child leading them was your daughter. Her little face looked just like the national goddess, Yi Kexin. Hearing the song from the stage, Jiang Nianyi thought it sounded quite nice. But what puzzled her was that she had never heard it before. Just then, at the kindergarten gate, a tall, powerfully built man climbed over the wall. He was unshaven, with disheveled clothes, and charged straight toward the stage. The security guard spotted a cleaver in the man's hand. His face changed instantly. He shouted and rushed at him. But with music still playing on stage, the parents did not hear the guard's warning, let alone react. Yet you suddenly rose to your feet. Only then did the parents nearby realize what was happening. The scene immediately descended into chaos. But Liu Nan's eyes lit up. She pointed her phone at the tall, muscular man. The livestream viewers finally learned what had caused the sudden commotion at the kindergarten. Liu Nan's account popularity instantly skyrocketed. Jiang Nianyi merely glanced at Liu Nan. Her eyes filled with worry as she looked at you. But the difference in size between you and the knife-wielding attacker was enormous. In close combat, you could not possibly stop him quickly. The more timid people covered their eyes, unable to watch the bloody, brutal scene about to unfold. But just then, you swiftly reached into your pocket. A flash of silver vanished in an instant. The knife-wielding attacker, who had been charging at the children, seemed to trip over something and sprawl face first onto the ground. Then, the fallen attacker struggled back to his feet. He glared at you with a twisted expression. Then, just as his cleaver was about to strike you, you shifted slightly aside and dodged his blade. You then raised your leg sharply. Before the attacker could react, a sweeping kick sent the man flying several meters away. Everyone stared at the scene in disbelief. The guard and several parents who had been rushing over all visibly froze for a moment. No one had expected you to take down the attacker in a single move. Jiang Nianyi was the first to run over and ask if you were all right. She still could not quite believe that your so-called basic martial arts were this formidable. Then Jiang Nianyi suddenly noticed a comment in the livestream chat. That viewer posted an animated image. It showed you charging full force at the knife-wielding attacker, your right hand suddenly reaching into your pocket, then snapping outward. The attacker then suddenly fell. The animated image was not smooth. It looked like still images switching one after another. Jiang Nianyi froze. Her eyes were filled with confusion. Could that knife-wielding attacker just now not have tripped over something, but been struck by something you threw? But when the image froze on, you drawing a coin from your pocket between the fingers, the entire livestream erupted in shock. What the hell? How did he do that? In other words, that knife-wielding attacker fell because your thrown coin hit him? As for Xiaomo's earlier claim that he only knew a little martial arts, I have serious doubts now. Could it be? Xiaomo is a martial arts master living in obscurity. Jiang Nianyi was stunned, desperate to know how you had done it. She hurriedly asked, Xiaomo, do you know those hidden weapons from television dramas? What hidden weapons? I am just fairly accurate when I throw things. Then a soft, sweet voice rang out. Jiang Nianyi instinctively looked over and stared wide-eyed. There she saw a little girl of about 3 running over. The little girl was sweet and adorable, like a tiny fairy who had stepped out of a cartoon. It was your daughter, Yuan. Jiang Nianyi swallowed. She put on what she thought was a gentle smile, but it made her seem like a creepy Annie. Daddy, who is this pretty big sister? Yuan blinked her bright eyes and asked after looking at Jiang Nianyi. You explained with a smile. She is Daddy's classmate. You should call her Annie Jiang. But Yuan pouted, clearly unconvinced. Daddy is wrong. She is clearly a pretty big sister. At that moment, Jiang Nianyi's heart was melting from the cuteness. She was clearly a little angel. Because a knife-wielding attacker had suddenly entered the kindergarten, the program could not continue. Amid the teacher's profuse apologies, many parents gradually left. Only then did Jiang Nianyi realize today's livestream meetup had to end. She looked at Yuan reluctantly. But no matter how reluctant she was, it was time to part. But to her surprise, Liunan said with a broad smile, we came all this way. Jiang Nianyi looked at Yuan reluctantly. Jiang Nianyi instantly understood Liunan's intentions. If they really went to your home, they could immediately expose your rich man act. That was not what Jiang Nianyi wanted. The viewers immediately began debating. I cannot wait for the streamer to expose his true colors. But some viewers opposed Goen, saying you should be spared your last shred of dignity. Jiang Nianyi also opposed Liunan's suggestion. Besides, she had already arranged with you to simply watch the 2 children's kindergarten performance. More importantly, she wanted to preserve your last bit of dignity too. Yet Liunan looked at you with a sweet smile. She expected you would refuse. But then she heard you say, my little electric scooter cannot carry that many people. She nearly doubled over laughing, suppressing her laughter. She said she could take a taxi. You then gave them your home address. Then you took the children and rode off on your electric scooter. After watching you ride away, Jiang Nianyi ordered a car online as well. The driver looked at the address. Then the driver asked, are you heading to Kaoshan village? Jiang Nianyi, seated in front, looked puzzled, because the address you had given her was a security booth at an intersection. Liunan, in the back seat, frowned slightly. Kaoshan village. She seemed to have heard of it somewhere. Driver, does Kaoshan village really sit against a mountain? Jiang Nianyi was also curious about the village's name. It used to be by the mountain. Now, not anymore. The middle-aged driver replied with a laugh. What do you mean? I do not quite understand. Jiang Nianyi was puzzled. What do you mean? It used to be by the mountain, but it is not anymore. Wusong Scenic Area. Ever heard of it? The middle-aged driver asked with a smile. Wusong Scenic Area? Liunan was stunned. No wonder Kaoshan village had sounded so familiar. She had heard of Kaoshan village because of the Wusong Scenic Area development. Most importantly, the developer had built every Kaoshan village household a villa and paid them enormous compensation. The largest compensation payout was several hundred million. Liunan suddenly recalled what you had said before. There could not possibly be such a coincidence. She had always thought you were making it up. Jiang Nianyi turned to Liunan in confusion. Liunan, what is wrong? The middle-aged driver gave Jiang Nianyi a brief explanation. Only then did Jiang Nianyi understand Liu Nan's shock. After hearing the driver's explanation, the viewers flooded the chat with shocked reactions. They immediately began buzzing with speculation. When they arrived, Jiang Nianyi and Liu Nan saw you on your electric scooter nearby. Rows of villas stood nearby, plainly before their eyes. How was this a village? It was clearly a villa community. Not long ago, they had mocked you for being broke. Now countless viewers have been publicly humiliated. Jiang Nianyi, on the other hand, looked at Liu Nan with a smiling gaze. Liu Nan scoffed inwardly. She still did not believe it. In her view, you must have prepared this in advance, renting a villa in Kaoshan village beforehand. After all, every Kaoshan village resident had received a massive payout. Naturally, they had moved to the big cities. Why would they stay in this place with no schools and no medical care? There had to be plenty of empty villas, and those vacant villas were rented out for gatherings and parties. But after they entered the village, an elderly man leaning on a cane ambled slowly over, greeting you with a smile. Yuan stood on the electric scooter and politely greeted the old man. "Hello, fourth grandpa." The old man grinned, pulling several candies from his pocket. After that, you met several more acquaintances who greeted you. Jiang Nianyi smiled and nodded back. The livestream chat instantly filled with mockery. Haters got shut down, did they not? Just listen to how they address each other. They are clearly related. Before long, you led them to a grand house. At the courtyard gate, Jiang Nianyi and Liu Nan both froze. Suddenly, the gate opened. The moment they entered the courtyard, they saw a luxury car parked inside. Jiang Nianyi recognized the luxury car. It was the one you had driven when you first met her. The livestream chat exploded. Damn, we were the clowns all along. If anyone says Xiao is a delivery rider, I will kick them twice. Could a delivery rider afford a car like that? Is it possible? Xiao delivers food, just to kill time in an otherwise boring life. After entering the courtyard, Jiang Nianyi found it exceptionally spacious. But just then, a very strange sound suddenly rang out. It sounded like a pig squealing. Then a huge, fat pig with black markings on its back charged straight at them. Jiang Nianyi and Liu Nan froze. But by the time they reacted, the black pig had already charged right up to them. Then Yuan's soft, sweet voice rang out. A jaw-dropping sight followed. After the black pig charged up to Yuan, it stopped. It was as though it were welcoming Yuan home. You explained with a smile. This is Yuan's pet. Then Yuan climbed onto the black pig's back. Jiang Nianyi was dumbfounded. She could not help looking at you. She wanted to see how you, as Yuan's father, would react. It was Yuan's pet. Yuan often rode that pig wildly around the village. Just then, a beautiful, elegant woman came out of the house. She was somewhat surprised to see Jiang Nianyi and Liu Nan. Once she learned they were your high school classmates, she warmly welcomed them inside. The house was not as lavish as the viewers had imagined, but its charming, layered design gave it an inexplicably cozy feel. Just then, your phone rang. After apologizing, you asked your mother to show them around. But Liu Nan suddenly moved close to your mother, sweetly complimenting her. You take such good care of yourself. You look so young. Liu Nan's sudden change left Jiang Nianyi puzzled. Little did she know, Liu Nan was fishing for information. And following her lead, your mother spoke of how they had not lived here before. How you had worked the fields as a child, carrying a pig feed basket and cutting fodder, fed pigs, and herded cattle. Liu Nan then feigned surprise, saying every household here had received substantial compensation. Your mother smiled. We were lucky, but a flash of envy crossed Liu Nan's eyes. Lucky was an understatement. It was as if a massive fortune had dropped right into their laps. They had been nothing but country bumpkins tucked away in the mountains, yet they had unexpectedly gained wealth others might struggle for generations to possess. What she could not understand was what the developer had seen in Wusong Mountain. Meanwhile, viewers dug up old news reports. I just looked it up. The developer behind Wusong Scenic Area was a company with registered capital of just 10 million yuan, and Wusong Scenic Area is its only project. That gave the viewers plenty to think about. It seemed the company had been established solely to develop Wusong Scenic Area, and for no other reason. Jiang Nianyi read the livestream comments, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. But what she had never expected was that what you said when you first met was actually true. Thinking back, she had even wanted to recruit you to her studio as a streamer. The thought made her feel like a complete clown. By now, Liu Nan no longer had that former look of disdain. Perhaps she had some ulterior motive. But you were not only married, you also had children. But when the conversation turned to your wife, Liu Nan suddenly found an opening and asked curiously. Your mother sighed and said, she only comes home every few days. That might be nothing unusual abroad. But in Longguo, a daughter-in-law who neglects her home would be hard for any mother-in-law to accept. But the very next moment, your mother added that she supported your wife's work. Everyone in the live stream became instantly envious. Now that is what you call a mother-in-law. A mother-in-law who loves her daughter-in-law like a daughter is so rare. Seeing the comments, Jiang Nianyi also recalled that you had said, your wife was an unknown actress. Would a minor actress really only come home every few days? In Jiang Nianyi's understanding, only top stars traveled everywhere with production crews. Liu Nan acted as though she were standing up for your mother and began criticizing your wife. Your mother paused, then could not help laughing. She was probably amused that Liu Nan had mistaken her daughter-in-law for a minor actress. Seeing your mother's reaction, Liu Nan wondered, could she really not be some insignificant extra? Liu Nan thought she could make something of this. She directly asked for your wife's name and her works, but your mother suddenly hesitated. Fortunately, Jiang Nianyi quickly changed the subject, but Liu Nan would not let go of a topic that could bring views. Seeing that your mother seemed reluctant to speak, the viewers immediately began speculating. Perhaps your wife was a low-ranking minor celebrity. After all, you were just an ordinary man who had struck it rich from relocation compensation. The livestream comments quickly became one-sided. I just cannot understand it. Why would Xiao Mo marry some fourth or fifth-tier actress? The entertainment industry is a complete mess. I work in it, so I know. No one in that industry is clean. The viewers could not understand why you had married a minor celebrity. But then one comment suddenly quickly caught everyone's attention. Doesn't Xiao Mo's daughter look like the nation's sweetheart, Yi Kexin? Given everything we know so far, could it be possible that Xiao Mo's wife is Yi Kexin? Countless viewers burst out laughing at that. They simply did not believe the nation's sweetheart would marry some newly rich guy like you. Meanwhile, Yi Kexin had just returned to her hotel when she saw the livestream comments. Her fair, lovely face immediately darkened, because the comment saying Xiao Mo's wife was Yi Kexin was the very comment she had posted herself. She had not expected the viewers to mock it. It made her want to announce their marriage outright. But when she thought of the negative press and public pressure, and the unnecessary trouble it would bring her husband, she could only sulk by herself. Still, Yi Kexin's eyes were full of happiness. The best decision she had ever made was undoubtedly marrying you. She had spent all these years busy filming, neglecting the wonderful husband who had quietly supported her. Thankfully, her husband had always kept a low profile. Otherwise, a man as exceptional as her husband, so brilliantly talented, how could he ever have chosen her? If not for her husband, she would have remained an ugly duckling. Jiang Nianyi's livestream continued. Jiang Nianyi could not stop thinking about your identity. Were you really Longguo's top comic artist? Some viewers could no longer contain themselves. They wanted her to take a look inside your study. Of course, without your permission. Jiang Nianyi did not dare enter the study. She could only turn to your mother and ask, Ma'am, when will Xiao Mo be back? Your mother checked the wall clock and replied, he should be home soon. Suddenly, a noise came from outside the courtyard. Daddy is back. Yuan, who had been sitting on the sofa, excitedly jumped to the floor and ran outside. Jiang Nianyi smiled in response, but she could barely contain her excitement. Liu Nan, beside her, was not nearly as excited as Jiang Nianyi. Meanwhile, the entire livestream erupted. Great, the truth will soon come out. Do you think Xiao Mo is really that notorious update dodging author? I hope Xiao Mo is. Then we can finally send him our loving little gifts. Loving little gifts. More like a 40-meter long broadsword. Before long, you walked in with Yuan in one arm. You smiled and said, Xiaoming, Daddy's home. Why aren't you coming out to welcome me? Jiang Nianyi froze. Her gaze immediately swept around the room. Then she spotted a little child, quietly sitting off to the side and reading. How had she overlooked him for so long? Jiang Nianyi could not understand why she kept overlooking this child. She had reminded herself several times just moments ago to pay more attention to him, yet she forgot every time she looked away. Miss Jiang, Miss Liu, it is getting late. How about you stay for a simple dinner at my place before heading home? Daddy, Big sister. Already promised Grandma she'd stay for dinner. We already bought the groceries too. Yinzhiman wrapped her arms around your neck and answered brightly. Xiao, sorry to impose on you tonight. Nianyi said politely. You smiled. What are you waiting for, streamer? Hurry and ask Xiao if he is that notorious author who never updates. The viewers immediately grew anxious. They all tagged Nianyi, urging her to ask about the comics. But before Nianyi could ask, Liunan spoke first. Xiao, are you Huachaogong? You froze for a moment, then asked in return. Huachaogong? As though you had never even heard of the Huachaogong pen name. Seeing your thoroughly baffled expression, many viewers looked disappointed. A small number of them were sarcastic, making snide remarks. Forget it. If Xiao were that notorious author who keeps delaying updates, he would recognize his own pen name. What a shame. I thought we had found that slacker. I got excited for nothing. Tell me about it. I bought those loving little razor blades for nothing. Looks like I need to return them. That is what I said. How could someone who never even finished high school possibly be Longguo's top comic artist? Seeing Nianyi and Liunan's disappointed faces, you asked, rather confused. Again, what is wrong with you two? It is nothing. We just thought you were Longguo's hottest comic artist in recent years. Huachaogong. Nianyi shook her head and explained softly. Yuan immediately flashed a cute, mischievous smile. Daddy, big sister told me. Lots of people read the comics you draw. At that, you could only answer helplessly. I did draw those. In Liunan's view, you were just playing with words. Of course we know you drew them. Too bad you only draw fan art. What, are you saying you wrote The Outcast too? Liunan asked instinctively. You gave a light cough, without so much as a blush or a pause, and said, how should I put this? Technically speaking, here in Longguo, I really am its author. Liunan froze. The viewers were stunned too. What does Xiao mean? What does technically speaking mean? Here in Longguo, he really is the author. Do you still not get it? He is admitting that he is that serial update slacker. Although Nianyi did not think you were someone who would boast just to save face, she still wanted to confirm it with you. You nodded. I just drew it casually. Yuan was delighted. She looked at Annie Liunan with a touch of smugness. My daddy already admitted it. You are not going to make him provide proof, are you? Liunan's expression immediately soured. Once many comic fans learned you were that serial update slacker, they became ecstatic. They all turned into fierce update demanders. Guys, do not return those little blades of love. Send them straight to Xiao. Now I finally understand why that slacker keeps delaying updates. Turns out, he got a huge relocation payout. Yet some viewers still doubted your identity. I still do not believe it. Xiao is that serial update slacker. Does saying it himself make it true? If I said I were Longguo's richest person, would that make me Longguo's richest person? Those of you still doubting Xiaomo's identity, go check Yinzhiman's official page. Meanwhile, at Yinzhiman headquarters, a mild-mannered looking man looked somewhat hesitant. President Wu, is this really a good idea? After all, President Xiao specifically told us before not to reveal his identity. Were we the ones who revealed it? A stout, amiable-looking middle-aged man asked with a smile. The mild-mannered man was stumped. It did seem that President Xiao had admitted it himself. Over the years, we have received plenty of blades mailed by his comic fans. Those in the know realize we are a comic platform. Anyone else would think we sell knives. We have collected enough blades to fill several warehouses. I think even if our company stopped publishing comics, we could survive by selling scrap metal. From now on, we will not need to chase him for updates. Let his fans do it. For a time, the entire comic community exploded. Countless viewers flooded into Nianyi's livestream. The number of viewers in her stream skyrocketed. She could hardly believe it. She had never imagined that one day, her livestream would become this popular. Classmate Liu, you do not need to doubt it anymore. Yinzhiman has officially confirmed Xiaomo's identity. Nianyi smiled at Liunan. Liunan curled her lips. Did he really think she was blind? Xiao, you are incredible. You can actually draw such amazing comics. Liunan's eyes immediately filled with admiration, her voice turning utterly coquettish. Nianyi's lips twitched. That was an absurdly fast change of attitude. The livestream viewers began mocking her too. Why does this streamer look like she is into Xiao? The moment she learned Xiao was that serial update slacker, she practically threw herself at him. Why are you creeps so dirty-minded? Our Nan was only talking with a classmate. He is just a comic artist. What is so special about that? He is nowhere near as good as those Japanese manga artists. The viewers immediately began arguing. Some believed Longguo comics had finally risen to prominence, though they still lagged somewhat behind Japanese manga. Given enough time, they could catch up. But other viewers immediately objected. Longguo comics and Japanese manga are not even comparable. One is confined to a single region, while the other is famous worldwide. Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto, which one is not a global hit? The thing is, all those comics came from one person. That mysterious big shot is named Yinzhiman. He is a world-renowned comic artist. Xiao is only famous in Longguo. That is the difference. Come to think of it, that's Serial Update Slacker and Japan's Yinzhiman share two particular habits. First, they both love reading lots of comics. Second, they both love delaying updates. Jiang Nianyi naturally noticed that her livestream chat was discussing Yinzhiman, the Japanese manga artist. Since the name Yinzhiman was so strange, it stuck in her mind. Yinzhiman was actually a Japanese manga artist. Several of his comics had taken the world by storm. Though your comics were highly popular in Longguo, they were far less famous around the world.